Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of Dialed In, PC Mag's weekly show about mobile technology, where this week we are breaking down Apple's big announcements. Here's how it's going to go. First, we're going to have Victoria Song, our wearables expert, on talking about the new Apple Watch Series 3 with LTE. Then we'll bring in Will Greenwald to talk about the Apple TV 4K. Finally, we'll have AJ Kumar come in, and he will talk about the iPhone 8 and the iPhone X. Now, we have Social Pete on the con, as always, and I'm going to reintroduce the show in each segment, so you may hear me repeat this. But ask your questions. Try to keep them to the product we're discussing at the moment. We will get to your product later in the show, we promise. So, Victoria, today Apple announced the Apple Watch 3 with a little red dot on the crown.
And you know what that little red dot means?
What does it mean?
Cellular connectivity. It comes in with built-in LTE.
And so what does that give you? How does an LTE-powered Apple Watch function differently from a normal Apple Watch?
Well, you'll be able to do things like respond to text messages, take calls on your phone. You haven't been really able to take calls on the phone before, as well as stream music directly onto your phone with
You mean your watch?
Yeah.
You mean your watch?
Yeah, my phone, watch, bleh. Anyway, it's been a hectic 2 hours just listening to all of this, but you'll be able to stream 40 million songs from Apple Music onto your watch directly.
Now you review a lot of watches. Some are standalone. Mm-hmm. How often do people go out without their phone? What is the need out there for a watch that operates without a phone?
So basically, you want a watch that operates without a phone if you're a big fitness buff. So if you want to running with your phone can be really cumbersome. I myself have accidentally thrown my phone behind me while I was running and been like, oh crap, that really stinks. So, you know, a lot of runners, a lot of times when you're doing sports, you don't want the extra burden of your phone on there, or you don't want to have to buy an armband to stick your phone in there. So we're seeing this a lot with smartwatches, especially now that so many of them are taking on a fitness, a fitness theme or a fitness focus, that they're adding music capabilities so that you don't have to take your phone with you, because music is such a huge part in motivating some people like me to run.
So let's talk about those fitness capabilities, because Apple also announced a bunch of new software features for the watch around fitness. Now, do those only apply to the version 3 watch or to all the watches, and what are the new fitness features?
So basically, back in June at WWDC, they previewed watchOS 4. watchOS 4 is going to be coming out September 19th, I believe, and it'll just roll across all the watches. But what it's going to do, it's going to add things like high-intensity training, better swim tracking. Also, it's going to change it's going to expand how the Apple Watch measures heart rate. So heart rate with the Apple Watch before was a little finicky, because unless you chose the right watch face, it wasn't directly available on when you look at your watch. So when I was testing heart rates with different smartwatches, I would always have to be like, and hope that it would kind of get up right. Now it's going to be directly on the watch face, so you can see it anytime. So that's kind of it's kind of symbolic that they're putting heart rate right onto the watch face so that it'll be there for you to see. But they're also going to be adding resting heart rate, which is something fitness trackers have had for a long time, so Apple's just catching up there. But also recovery heart rate, which is how quickly your heart rate returns to normal after a workout, as well as they're doing an Apple Heart study, which will measure a heart arrhythmia, which we'll see how that works out.
Deep in your Apple Heart.
Deep in your Apple Heart. But also you'll get notifications when your heart rate is elevated and it doesn't think that you're actually working out at the moment, which could lead to some awkward social interactions.
That seems like it could be trouble. I mean, without going too far, I will say that my heart rate is elevated right now, and I am not working out at the moment.
Yeah, so, that's just kind of a snapshot of how they're kind of focusing more towards fitness. They've also added a barometric altimeter so that you can measure flights climbed or elevation gained or lost during a workout. But there's one thing that they're not adding: sleep tracking. And that's because it looks like they're not improving on the battery life.
So it's still 1 day of battery.
It's still 1 day of battery. They said an estimated 18 hours with a mix of LTE connectivity and not. And that's pretty, if you really want a focus on health. Lots of different smartwatches and trackers are adding sleep tracking, and to have sleep tracking, you have to have battery life that lasts more than a day.
So let's take some quick questions about the Apple Watch once more. If you have questions about any other products, we will get to your segment later.
Will you be able to link any wireless or Bluetooth headphones with the watch, or is it just AirPods?
That's a good question, and not one that they really addressed. Theoretically, I think you should be able to, but I wouldn't put it past Apple to not let you.
And one thing I did notice from the watch's spec sheet that they did not announce at the event is that you will still need an iPhone 6 or greater to set up and operate the watch. And the watch's phone number will be paired to your iPhone phone number, so you can't just use someone else's iPhone.
Right.
You also still have to be an iPhone owner, and I feel that that does really limit the audience for the watch, because one of the things I was thinking was that maybe this watch, if it's truly standalone, that could become a gateway to Apple stuff, where you decide I have this beautiful watch. Maybe now I'll get rid of my cheap Android phone. But no, you still need the iPhone first.
It's a little frustrating because there isn't really a great smartwatch for Android users out there. Android Wear 2.0 is much better than Android Wear, but it's still not like my favorite smartwatch operating system. And even in the office, I get people asking me who primarily use Android phones, like, what is the equivalent of the Apple Watch in terms of smartwatches, and I don't really have one for them.
Samsung Galaxy
S2.
Yeah. But
it's
not quite.
It's not quite Tizen. Love it or hate it. And then we do have the Fitbit Ionic, but we don't know how that's going to work out yet. That's still in beta, so we'll have to see.
So now, before we get to the next question, pricing.
Pricing, it is $329.99 without LTE and $399 with.
And they've lowered the price for, is it the Series 1 or the Series 2?
Series 1. They've lowered the price for the Series 1 down to, I think, about $249. $250, yeah.
Let's take another question about the Apple Watch.
Will the new Apple Watch iOS allow AirPod users to adjust in-call volume with the crown spinner?
We don't know.
No idea. We'll find out.
Yeah. There's still a lot that's vague, and this is typical of Apple, where you don't find out a lot of these things until we actually get the devices in hand.
Yeah, like a lot of these features, particularly the fitness ones, sound interesting, but until we get it in practice, we won't know how good it is, or like they say 18 hours of battery life. We'll actually see how much we'll get with LTE connectivity with fitness on top of that.
Wait, what's the difference between the 3 without LTE and the Series 2? Do we know?
So the hardware inside will be slightly different. It has the new W2 chip, which they say it connects to Wi-Fi 85% faster, is 50%
better Wi-Fi
more,
and Bluetooth,
50% more power efficient. So we'll see. But otherwise, like the real
maybe the heart rate monitoring
heart rate monitoring will be better. Basically, the main draw is the one with LTE. So if you're not going to get the one with LTE, you might as well just save some money and get a Series 1.
Okay, great. So when is the new Apple Watch coming out?
So you can pre-order the 15th, and in the U.S., they'll be available the 22nd.
Okay, and of course, we will review the new Apple Watch as soon as Victoria can get one onto her wrist.
I'll just have to beat people away and get one.
Any more watch questions out there? Okay, well, this is a marathon multi-segment production, so I'm going to say farewell to Victoria, who's going to go write our Apple Watch preview.